That's right. It's episode 62 of Rinkside. I'm Pawtai here with Hume. And Hume, it was just Thanksgiving. How was it? Was it everything you expected?
Yeah, it wasn't bad. Popped up to Chicago for a couple days to hang out with my uncle and his family. Had a lot of fun hanging out with the cousins and all that. Everything was good except the drive there and back because I absolutely hate driving, and it's about 7 hours one way. So other than that, it was pretty good. How about you?
Oh, well, fortunately, I had like 40 minutes and then an hour and 15 minutes of driving. Or maybe it was just like an hour each way, but went out in Chicago. Unfortunately, wasn't the same dinner you were at, Hume. That would have been cool to link up. But, had it. It was great with my aunt and uncle, and a lot of other people came along. And shout out to the 12 people who watched our last episode about Thanksgiving. I hope you all had wonderful Thanksgiving dinners. And for those that didn't watch it, I hope you all had the worst Thanksgiving. I hope you had that dry turkey and nobody remembered the cranberry sauce. But
Yeah,
it's
I was gonna say, I hope your turkey was dry and your casserole overcooked.
casserole overcooked. Well, let's talk about what's cooking up in the league right now. I've got a few numbers for you in a new segment. Oh, damn. Well, as you can see, that one popped up. But let's talk about right here. This is actually the standings or the total points that have been distributed. Of course, when there's ties, goal differential factors in there. But you can see Jacksonville at the top with 50 points, Brooklyn at the bottom with 14. And I thought, ultimately it's about the games that are played and the teams that have, certain assets on them. So then I took the overalls of the entire league and ranked them, looking at Florence at the top, actually Copenhagen second from the top, and we've got Brooklyn again at the bottom. Now, what I did is I took the ranking of the overall and subtracted that from the points ranking. And this gave a distribution of teams. So, as you can see, the ones in green at the top, Honolulu, who has the 16th highest overall, so fourth from the bottom, they're currently ranked in sixth place, giving them the biggest advantage. You can see, Columbus and Boston, and shout out, Jacksonville and Miami, the Florida teams, still in the green, Albuquerque, Manitoba, Las Vegas. And then we get to like the net neutral ones, Brooklyn, Sapporo, Glasgow, kind of performing in the ranking that they currently have. And then we go to the negatives, starting with the least is North Bay, San Diego, and Florence, each with -1, Turku, Norfolk, and Alaska with -2, and then a big jump down to Rome with -6, Copenhagen with -8, and honing out the bottom is Tennessee with -10. So they're third in overall, yet they're performing in 13th place. Hume, what do you take away from this?
Um, yeah, it's interesting looking at the overall chart. I think if I am seeing it right, 17 of the 20 teams are within the 1600 range.
Mm.
So, if you just look at straight overall, I think that would probably explain some of the, imparity we're seeing this season compared to last season's. I mean, I don't have any of the previous season's data on me, so it might just be, a linear progression, and I'm just looking at incomplete data. But yeah, so the game, ranks players. Their overall is supposed to be kind of a mathematical, representation of their skill level and physical ability thrown in. But and then the AI checks it. Like, I don't need to explain how video games work to anybody in this league, obviously. But this chart proves that you still have some freedom in your builds, and then strats do matter. It's not entirely just, hey, whoever has the highest stack team that's right at the cap, as many 99s as they can get is just going to run the league. And vice versa. It's not like, oh, we're, you know, a team that's rebuilding or we're an expansion team or something like that, and we don't have, 99s on every level of our team. and we're like 75 to 100 overall points, behind the leaders. Like, just look at Honolulu. You're not necessarily going to be at the bottom of the league if you have a bottom overall.
Hmm. Yeah, really an empowering statement, and it shows that leadership can make an impact both in the implementation of those strategies and tactics, as well as the long term building of those teams. So, speaking of the long term, let's talk about one last shout out on 12/1. Don't forget, that's this Friday at 9 p.m. Central Time. You can join in on our autographed and authenticated hockey jersey break, $15 for two teams. And if that's not your sport, we got you covered with football, Rising Stars, autographed and authenticated football jerseys, $15 for two teams. Again, December 1st, 9 p.m. Check the Rinkside channel. So let's move along to our plays of the week. We got some big ones for you. Hume, let's take this through. Who's up with our...
All right. We got the Reapers coming down, centering pass, just a nice one-timer right in front of the goal for Matt Green for his first goal today. Coming down the side again, attack somewhat similar to the first one. Green just takes it, makes one move, snipes it right in. Goal number 2. This time he gets the feed cross crease, shot goes up, a little bit of a board battle. Kicks it up, just a clapper straight from the point. 3 goals, hat trick. Beautiful.
Absolutely. And it wasn't the first Reaper to have a hat trick in this plays of the week. Check out my favorite player on the Reapers, my man, the Bob, coming in left wing, number 3, coming in with his first goal of his hat trick. Oh, swooping in for the second one. And let me tell you, this was actually right after that goal just happened. They went into the face-off, and boom, you can see a little contact over there. Alejandro has the puck coming down the ice over the blue line. He passes it off to none other than the killer himself, the Bob.
Shorty to submit your hat trick. That's crazy.
Absolutely. So that was some crazy stuff going down. But let's talk about when it came to the transactions of the league. We had the Glasgow Black Watch trading Trey Hyman for Sneeko Bro. I think that's like a moose or something at the end. Cool emoji choice. I know we were looking at Sneeko Bro for the draft and he got traded away, but the Finns receiving Hyman in return. What do you think went down over here?
Yeah, it was just one of those things where we liked a different affiliate we had a little better. And they got the call up ahead of, another guy, and the other guy didn't necessarily like that. So we were willing to, work a deal with a different franchise to maybe help them get their path to the majors accelerated a little bit.
Absolutely. Well, that's just the way it boils out. But those weren't the only transactions that occurred. We had the release of Michael Crimp for missing progressions, and then the release of Milan Lucic, who left the server, that being the Toos and the Beast. The Toos then signed goalie Ace King. The Magic signed lefty Devin Rudisill. Lions taking Jamal Goodman Jr. Stags signing Brody White. And the Magic putting pen to paper with Jalen Clark.
Yeah, I always like seeing, week to week that there's more people signing up for the minors than leaving. Obviously, if it was vice versa, you'd have to worry about the potential health of the minor system. But that doesn't seem to be the case, and I'm happy for it.
Absolutely something to be grateful for. But let's talk about how people are performing in our standings. We usually pop it out to the conferences, but I thought it was kind of interesting to break it down by the divisions. And this time I'll take the left with the Atlantic and the Europe. So in the Atlantic with 50 points, so leading the entire league, we've got Jacksonville, followed with an 11-point drop to Boston, and then Norfolk 10 behind them. Two behind them is Miami, and then Brooklyn with about a 13-point differential from there. So when it comes to the Atlantic, you've certainly got the league leader in points, and you also have the bottom with Brooklyn. And in between is a mix of different things. Hume, do you know if like Brooklyn and Miami had the worst records in the league? Would that mean that, or at least in Mr. Hockey, would that mean that those two teams would be eliminated from the or not able to make the playoffs? Or
Yeah, I think so. I should know this. So don't quote me 100%. But I think the only two teams that are guaranteed a spot in the playoffs are the division leaders. And then I think it's the next six best teams, however that shakes out. Like, I
mm,
don't think it's like how the NHL currently does it, where it's like, the top three in each division, and then there's like two wild cards, and that can be. Yeah, I think it's just so like right now, Jacksonville, Florence have it locked, and then it would be the next um, six best teams between the Europe and Atlantic, based on points and tiebreakers, et cetera, et cetera. So, like right now, looking at it, Brooklyn and Turku are out of the playoffs, even
mm,
though that happens to both be the the bottom
yeah,
team
yeah.
in each division. So that doesn't really answer the question much. But
Well, when it comes to the Europe, we do got Florence in the lead in Copenhagen. I think we talked enough about Mr. Hockey. What's going on in the Rocket?
we got Columbus leading the Central by 6 points. Albuquerque sitting there at 31. Manitoba hot on their heels at 29. Tennessee coming in at 28, North Bay at 22. That's a division that yeah, there's a 15-point gap between 1 and 5, but two through five, one bad week by one team paired with one good week from another team, you could see that the order
Mm,
of that division just completely flip on its head. Um, the Pacific, Vegas, well, once again, is leading the division. To nobody's surprise. Honolulu sitting there with a surprising amount of zero overtime wins, or sorry, losses. So that's just interesting tidbit. You'd figure you'd have at least one after you play 28 games.
mm-hmm.
San Diego right there on them. 2 points back on Honolulu, 7 points back of Vegas. Alaska surprisingly sitting in fourth. They've been a powerhouse for so many seasons. Them and Las Vegas always seem to be fighting for 1 and 2. And then Sapporo, you know, filling in the Brooklyn Alpha Dog spot of the other conference, coming in dead last. But so the expansion teams, they'll pick it up.
Yes, they will. They'll pick it up. And there's also those that have already picked it up and are displaying their propensity. We've got none other than goals leader General Cornwall with 20, but hot on his heels. I like how you put it, Hume. Racer X, and that one's just revving up to take the lead with 19. When it comes to assists, we've got Oliver Price with 19 as well as Trevor Lopez. Shout out Trevor Lopez. I was looking at Trevor Lopez's stats because I'm a power forward like him. He's got I think I have 21 points this season. He's got 28, but we do have the same number of hits with 51 hits this season for power forward, which I think is pretty impressive. But he's got
Yeah, it must be nice to do the hitting instead of getting hit.
absolutely, and in NHL, like the game, that's like how I play. I always be scoring mostly assists. I get the occasional goal or two, but I'm always rocking them hits, and I got minimal penalty minutes for it too, because I do it with finesse. When it comes to the points leaders, Oliver Price with 31. So shout out there, Honolulu, 31 points. And then we got Adam Banks with 30 and General Cornwall, the goals leader, over there with 30 a pair each. So very hot race.
Yeah, I mean we're a little over halfway through the season, and I don't remember a season I've been in, and I've been here since season 2. So season 1 might have went different. I wasn't here for that, but sitting at halfway through the season with one, two, three, four, five, 7 people averaging a point per game, like that has to be the most. I think we're going to end the season with more people being a point per game player than this league has seen.
Mm, absolutely. What's going on in time on ice?
Once again, 10 Demon, not surprising. Doug Britton leading with 735 minutes. Jace Taylor not too far behind him with 732. Moving over to shots on goal, Ray Bob Diddle, number one with 97. And he's not even on the top 10 in goals. Oh, no, no, no. He's tied for third with 16. So, pretty efficient. Not as efficient as he could be.
Mm,
Uh, Power play goals, Racer X added some more to his tally, sitting there with 9. Um, just an insane rate. It blows my mind every week when I look at power play goals and see him with more.
yeah.
And honestly, as a sniper, I'm jealous. Uh, the Bob, I was wondering if he would be the first when we were looking at the plays of the week. He is the first player with 2 shorthanded goals. So,
Mm,
finally it's not just 37 people with one. We legitimately have a leader, and it is the Bob.
absolutely. The Bob leading shorthanded goals leader, as you predicted. Um, Shout out the Bob, number one Rinkside fan. When it comes to hits, yo, shout out Doc Lindros Jr. with the 118. Oh, we just saw a live update of stats. Doug Britton with 117 hits that might be included in current games that have just been played. Penalty minutes leader Billy Big Hits with 42 minutes. And then Brian Lickett with 39. Puck possession time leaders Adam Wiseman 51 minutes, 22 seconds. That's crazy. Yo, he's holding on to that puck all day. But Voodoo right behind him with Miami, 47-47. And, Voodoo up on that goals leaders list, getting his position in on. Let's see if we can make a magic. When it comes to the plus minus, we've got Robert Garrett Jr. with 30 and Johnny Blades with 28.
Yeah, moving on to saves. Joey Duncan, number one again. Baby D are number two again. They've been solidly sitting there at the top of that list for several weeks now. Baby Deer and Brody both tied for save percentage at 917, not 719. That would be a horrible save percentage. But no, they got a 917 save percentage between the two of them. Brody with the most shutouts at 5, also averaging the least goals against at 1.73 for Brody and Jacksonville.
What a way to save it off. All right, when it comes to the rookie leaders, this should be no confusion here. There's a clear leader leading goals, assists, and points overall. We've got Nacho Sicario with 7, 8 assists, and 15 total points. In next place is Luis Mendoza from Florence with 8. So shout out to Nacho Sicario, who's just
It kind of puts me in a bad spot because I'm supposed to root against them because Copenhagen's one of our biggest rivals. But I always love to see the kids doing good. So
yeah.
I'm hoping that he keeps on his hot streak because it's just crazy, in a league that's this established to just see a rookie, sitting there just ripping it up.
Yeah, just like dominating the competition. That was crazy. Well, oh, yeah, don't forget coming up, you can get football or hockey, just DM Potty. But thanks again for tuning in, Hume. What can the viewers expect from the upcoming holiday season?
Well, I will just say, for the breaks, in case anybody was worried, I did not enter the hockey one this time. I did enter the football. I didn't want to, get 4 jerseys. Uh,
Damn.
um, Yeah, for the holiday season, I mean, I think we've got a couple things down the pipe, right? Some Hanukkah themed stuff, Christmas stuff. Um, hopefully nobody runs into any reindeer on the road. You know,
Nope.
Santa can get down your chimney fine.
Absolutely.
I don't want to hear about any Christmas tree lighting mishaps.
Yes. None of those. But you can make sure none of that happens if you tune in to our upcoming holiday episodes. This was Rinkside.